Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we will look into how we can deploy a Spring Boot application to Amazon AWS ECS container and automate the whole process with GitHub Actions. So without any further ado, let's jump right into it. So what is AWS ECS? ECS means Elastic Container Services. According to Amazon, ECS is a fully managed container orchestration service that makes it easy for you to deploy, manage, and scale containerized application. Which means ECS is an automated orchestration service for your Docker containers that will take care of everything from deployment, scaling, recovery, everything. All you need to do is push the image and figure out some parameters. So why AWS ECS? It's a complete container orchestration service. That means it takes care of everything for your Docker containers. It's highly and easily scalable, and it's very easy to integrate and deploy on the go. How to implement AWS ECS? First of all, we need to Dockerize the application. Then push the Docker image to AWS Elastic Container Repository where all our images will be. Create a cluster and a service in AWS ECS, creating a task to deploy the Docker image to service. Also, create an application load balancer to take care of the traffic. Now, the fun part. Let's see how to do it. To continue, log into your AWS account or create one. It's completely free. For this tutorial, I will show you how we have set up the backend of a startup Enigma on AWS. So the first step will be to set up a database. Go to RDS or you can search from here. We are using a PostgreSQL database. So we will select a region. Since we are in India, we don't need US West. What we will need is Asia Pacific Mumbai. So once you have this page, go to create database. Make sure you are inside RDS and create database, not inside Aurora. So I want an PostgreSQL and my version should be the latest one. You can choose whatever version you want and I will be taking the free tier. I will name it as aeradron-code and my credentials will be admin and my password make sure you remember what your password and your username is, since they are the pseudo user password credentials. So what I want is a T3 micro. I guess it's fine for now. Please select burstable, others are, if you want you can choose them, but it's better to always go with the burstable. Then storage, let it be, just I'll disable auto scaling since this is for demo purposes. Now I need IPv4 and my subnet will also be default. I'll need the public access so that you can connect from your local to this database. Rest all, let it be the same. Just check everything once and see you have basically right now they give these two free. Basically until 750 usage they will give these two as free. So we will select the micro one. We don't need this one. And we'll create database. Now must not be a reserved keyword. So we will give it as super user. Now create database. It will take some time to create the database. We can see the status creating. We'll come back once it is up. Our DB has been created successfully. To check out the details, click on this and this will be the endpoint where you connect with in your database or from your Postgres. So our database is done. Now let's go to the actual ECS. So you can see search for ECS and you will get Elastic Container Services. Okay. So our ECS looks like this. So we have few options to create clusters, to create task definitions, and ECR where we'll have our repositories. So ECR is Elastic Container Repository. ECS will manage the Docker containers, but to create the Docker container, it will take from ECR. So first we need a repository. Click on the repository and you'll have this page. There are no repositories right now. Click on create repository and give it a private access, and I will give it Enigma name. Rest everything is correct. You can just put a scan on push to have, they can be scanned, or you can completely disable it. That is up to you. So I'll keep the scan on push disabled for now and create a repository. So it doesn't take much time since it's just creating a repository and it's done. Now to our main step, just go back or search for ECS again and go to your clusters. Now here is where the actual clusters where your images will be created into a container. So to do that, create a cluster. So what we want is EC2, Linux and networking. Networking only will not have a dedicated EC2 instance linked to it. So ECS is nothing but a wrapper around our traditional EC2 instances. We will need Linux instead of Windows, and we'll go to the next step. I'll give the name as Enigma. So we give it a name Enigma and we choose the instance type to be t3 dot small. Number of instances 1, this all is fine. We don't want to create a new VPC, we already have one. Subnets, just assign everything to it, all 3 subnets. These are all by default, so you don't need to worry about them. Enable, so we need a public IP and our security group will be the existing one, and we don't want to enable container instance, and everything looks fine. So we'll click create. It will create in some time. So once it's created, we'll be back. A cluster has been created successfully. So you can view the cluster and you can see that the EC2 instance has been attached here. If you open up the EC2 instance, you can see all the details, and you can see that an public IPv4 DNS and an public IP is assigned. If you copy this and paste it, currently you won't get anything, but this will be working once we deploy our service here. So let's go back. So till now we saw how to create a DB in AWS and how to create a repository in ECR, ECS, AWS, and how to create a cluster in AWS ECS. In the next video, we'll see how to create tasks. For that, we require some roles. We'll see how to create that, and then we'll create a service and deploy our application. So that is it for this video. See you in the next one. Thank you.